Democratic Representative Summer Lee says Black Americans will stop voting if they think that they will never be paid reparations for slavery. Is this a threat? I'm not really sure what she means by this, because also, does she just assume that every Black person is voting specifically for reparations? I feel like Black Americans might have, I don't know, other concerns in current year. Potentially. We fight for reparations because it's owed us. It is owed us. And I'll let her speak her other quote.
Are hell-bent on beating us down to our face and then telling us that, you know, we're the ones who are crazy. And we got to fight back against this. So you know what? I have just...
Karmelo Anthony is the Black man, and he was the aggressor. Austin Metcalf is now dead, lady. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And yeah, smile on her face. Like, this is crazy. How do you go out and just, like, say these lies publicly and be fine with it?
Not engaged in that topic of them trying to give, like, insurrectionists some dollars, because we got to control the things that we can control. And they want Black folks to feel like they're poking, like they're knocking the wind out of us, right? That's what they need us to feel that way. Because if we feel empowered, if we feel like we have even a tiny bit of momentum, then they know that we have enough power to do damage. Positive damage, good trouble damage, whatever.
Good trouble.
You don't say. You don't. I see a lot of good trouble going on in Belfast. Maybe we'll have good trouble here too.
That's it.
Good trouble. But yeah, it's absurd. And that's what they do, because again, they're trying to disenfranchise you. Because if you believe that
they're trying to disenfranchise you by sentencing a murderer to a correct sentence for murder. I am like beyond baffled. Like, how do you, what else do you even say to these things, right? Like, these lying propagandist people are just insane.
Going to get reparations from this system, then you tap out. And you don't just tap out of the conversation, you tap out of the system. You don't want to vote anymore. You don't participate anymore. And they know that that's how they don't just control Congress. That's how they can get your school boards, your supervisor, your board of supervisors. What? They want us that far out of the system. So right now, we fight for reparations because it's owed us. It is owed us. So we're not going to back down on that one way or another. I'm not shocked that my colleagues are not on it, that Democratic colleagues aren't on it. Again, there is a level of comfort in this building that sustains people. And I know that the people who don't want reparations back a lot of my colleagues, Democrat and otherwise. So no, I'm not shocked. But it is why we have to keep people on the outside encouraged. So we have to, it's not that we have to cancel out the news when they're doing shit like that. We can't cancel out the news. Like, we got to live in reality. But we have to counter.
It is incredibly ironic to hear talking about living in reality while spouting so many things that are not in reality.
Balance that with our plan, our organizing plan, with how we're going to build this coalition, who we're working with to move the needle on this. And I think that our time is really well spent there.
Consequences has just further perpetuated racism to them, which is wild. Everyone should have consequences for criminal actions, especially if it results in someone's fucking death. What are we doing? The representative from Pennsylvania, a state that had white men die to free slaves, talking about white people owing her more. Literally fucking wild. This is not a person who should be a state representative. They do not represent the people. They are a very self-interested person that is only interested in sowing more division in order to secure votes from other people who believe crazy out-of-reality things. She is literally a propagandist. That is her purpose. But let's look at the Spencer Pratt thing. This is after the midnight ballot drops, as it were. Let's fix LA. Spencer Pratt for mayor.
Now that the campaign portion of my mission to save Los Angeles is coming to a close, and I'm moving on to the next, more interesting phase. Listen, I've spent a lot of time slaying everybody. I've ridiculed everyone on the roster, and I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take the chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. You think you can get rid of me that easily? I know a lot of dim-witted jerks thought I was in this for a grift, that I was gonna roll up and leave town if I didn't get into City Hall.
It's just not
That's fair. Hey, morons, I didn't get in this for political power. I got in this to expose this corrupt machine, and nothing has changed. You enjoy your worthless meetings in City Hall.
Nithya, you have all this information. You're running for mayor. Show what you're really about, or get the fuck out of the race.
I'm already lighting you up every single day, and now I don't have to worry about offending CNN viewers. I don't have a campaign laws hamstringing me now. It's war.
Oh, baby!
0 hour for Los Angeles. Angelinos are now...
I love listening to righteously angry men. There's just something about it that, like, taps into some sort of evolutionary thing planted deep inside of me as a woman. And it's like, oh, fuck, baby, let's go! I don't know, there's just something about it.
Stuck with 2 morons responsible for all their problems, and they have to choose between Dumb and Dumber. That's not a choice. That's the machine protecting the machine. And now every problem that plagues Los Angeles because of these 2 corrupt communists is going to accelerate. And the city will tumble headlong into the abyss. You have no idea how many major developers, hoteliers, business owners, entrepreneurs have been texting me saying they're packing up and leaving town. More of your favorite restaurants will be shuttering. That means less tax revenue. That means the city has to cut services. More potholes, less firefighters, less police patrols, more criminals, more drug addicts terrorizing your communities.
And we haven't ended it.
You have no idea how bad things are about to get for this city. Look at this place already. Weeds growing from every crack and crevice. Graffiti over every square inch of public space. Garbage, drugs, feces, burned up dogs.
It is actually that bad. The few times I've had the displeasure of being in LA for convention shit, it's really fucking grotesque. It's really bad. I went to like a midnight rave out in LA as well. And the rave was like, obviously, you know, when you have these impromptu last minute, you know, you gotta have someone tell you where it is to get to it kind of things. It's gonna be in a dingy area. This was like the amount of homeless people there. I was worried. I was like, is our rental car gonna get broken into, buddy? Like, I don't feel safe here, man. I don't want to bring my purse into the rave, but I don't want to leave it here. Like, it was fucking crazy. Donut talked about leaving LAX, and the first thing he saw that wasn't the airport was a homeless man with his dick out. It's really bad in LA. It looks like a post-apocalyptic city in a majority of areas. Like, it looks nice when you're in the hotels and they keep their property nice. As soon as you leave, you know?
Burn down towns, abandoned storefronts. This city is a mess, and you're about to reward the arsonist who torched a place with 4 more years of destruction.
I know he's very bitter.
My goal hasn't changed. I've been laser focused on stopping these commie animals, and I will stop them. If you think we uncovered a lot of fraud and evil in the campaign, just wait. We have some recordings of one of your exalted candidates doing and saying something that would make her resign in shame. I was saving it for the general election. Go ahead and pick your demon, certify your choice, and then you get to see it. So Karen Nithya, ask yourself, is it possible that one of your employees may have a recording of you doing or saying something that would force you to resign in disgrace? Hope you sleep well at night over the next 5 months, because you know who hasn't slept well at all for the last 17 months? My mom. All my neighbors in the Palisades. All the moms who worry about their kids walking past drug addicts in front of their schools. All the business owners getting crushed in the LA economy, worried that they can't stay in business and feed their kids. Angelinos have been struggling for years now, all while corrupt politicians and fraudulent NGOs profit off the misery and fleece us for the tax dollars. Well, now we're flipping the script. I want all of you awake at night sweating and worried about 5 a.m. when the FBI blazers bust in the door.
Yes, communists do not get to sleep comfortably! I love this man.
In your office, because I assure you, they're coming. You think your election was gonna stop me? If you want to stop me,
you're gonna have to fucking kill me!
Bro, this is the perfect mix of, like, cringe and excitement. I loved this. I loved this. This was amazing. Holy shit. Holy fuck. What a fucking guy. Yeah, what a fucking guy. He's our guy. Ah, this man is nuts, dude. Swedish parliament passes bill to abolish permanent residency for refugees. From the 12th of July, only temporary residence permits can be issued to asylum seekers and certain other groups of immigrants in Sweden. It follows the passing of the government's bill in Parliament on Tuesday. Temporary residence permits are already the norm in Sweden. Now, however, the option of obtaining a permanent residence permit is being removed altogether for these groups. It does not impact those who already have a permanent residence permit. Well, that's unfortunate, but at least they're doing something. Something is happening. Podcaster Larry Reid calls for a mass exodus of Black Americans to Africa in response to the Karmelo Anthony verdict. I want you to begin to think about this, America, and the white people problem that we have. That's a very weird thing to say. It's like, if we really wanted to split hairs, the original people who built the country are the white people. We do have, obviously, like, heritage, like, Black Americans and Hispanic Americans who came here later, but it was initially set up by the people coming over from Europe, man. So the white people problem is just like, no, you came to the white people country. Like, what are we doing? As a collective, let's drain this place of its benefits and make our mass exodus and go home and build. I mean, yeah, why would you not want to build? Like, if you feel more attachment to a country in Africa, why would you not want to go home and build it? I guess. Like, that makes sense to me. Civil rights did not make white people that are infected with whiteness. You know, having had to have spent a lot of time around unironic racists when I was a child, not a single one of them had ever said something like, yeah, those black people, they're just infected with blackness. What the fuck? That's actually insane. Gary Thomas, thank you. You're not going back to Africa. You don't have a problem with white people in general. White liberals and progressives, yes. I just think that it's kind of crazy, because didn't it used to be like the white to black people racists who would be like, go back to Africa. And now the black people are like, fuck you, white people. We hate you. We're gonna go back to Africa. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck is happening? I don't even... Civil rights did not make white people that are infected with whiteness stop being racist. They still raised racist children that run this country to this day. Generational racism, brother. What the fuck? You come from a land that flows with milk and honey. They pulled you out of that land ancestrally and brought you to a place where your royalty was not recognized. I got some bad news for you. It was other black Africans who were selling the slaves. And not just to Europeans, but also to Arabs and the Jews. What are we doing? And then also, when freed slaves went back to Africa and settled Liberia, they enslaved the black Africans who were there. What are we doing? Used your black power, your black mysticism, your African spirituality, and your physiological superiority to build this country and give everybody reparations except you.
And I want you to begin to think about this America and the white people problem that we have. I'm going to make a statement.
The fucking white people problem.
We know that Martin Luther
That's
King,
crazy.
the beginning of his work was all about integration. We do know that later on that did change. Integration has had great benefits. I think now, unless you must stay in America, unless you are supposed to be in the USA.
Wait, what does he mean unless you are supposed to be in the USA? What does that mean? What did he mean by this? They were kings before that damn Yakub ruined everything. Yakub! Why did you have to create the white cave beasts?
Otherwise, if you're black, integration has had great benefits. I'm telling you, and I'm saying this as a collective,
What?
Let's drain this place of its benefits.
What?
And
What? Hold on.
Integration has had great benefits.
Uh-huh.
I'm telling you,
Uh-huh.
and I'm saying this as a collective, let's drain this place of its benefits and make our mass exodus.
Now, I don't want to step on a landmine, but there are historical images that were printed in newspaper of white people being forced at gunpoint into desegregation. So, I feel like there may be a bit of confusion here.
And go home and build. I repeat, integration has had great benefits, Black people. For some of us. Let's drain this place.
What the fuck is he talking about?
Make our mass exodus.
Integration has had great benefits for some Black people. Let's drain the country of its benefits. I don't know if he even knows what he's saying, because like that doesn't make any sense.
And go home and build. See, civil rights did not make white people that are infected with whiteness stop being racist. They still raised racist children that run this country to this day.
I have a question. When people get something legislated, right, like civil rights or like gay marriage or whatever, do the people who pushed for this assume that as soon as something is written down on paper, like magically all of the like racism or gay hatred evaporates from people because like the pen ink hit the paper? Because like it's been illegal to be like discriminatory for a very long time, and yet we've seen so much discrimination towards white people. Where's the magic paper to make that stop?
The Civil Rights Act just made social discrimination federally illegal in key areas of American life, housing, voting, and such. It changed what was lawful, what was punishable, and what rights Black Americans could legally demand and defend. That's it. And now, those rights at the federal level, there's an attempt to roll them back. Integration has had great benefits.
I have a question. If we were to bring back like freedom of association, how would that work, right? Because right now it's supposed to be like you can't discriminate based on someone's like skin color or sex or whatever, and that's fine. But like if somebody is like, let's say, renting an apartment that you own and they trash the inside of it, right? And you're just like, well, I don't want that to happen again. Maybe I'll be more cautious about who I allow based on like credit score or whatever. But then somebody can just say that you're discriminating because of something that you're not actually discriminating against. So how do you like make up for that? There's a federal movement to roll back integration. Fucking news to you. The only people I've seen calling explicitly for segregation have not been white people.
Let's drain this place of its benefits and make our mass exodus and go home and build. This land ain't rich enough to hold who you are. You come from a land that flows with milk and honey. They poured you out of that land.
What the fuck is he even saying? What does that even mean?
Ancestrally, and brought you to a place to where your royalty was not recognized. Used your Black power, your Black mysticism, your African spirituality, and your physiological superiority to build this country. and give everybody reparations except you. Don't believe that America don't give reparations. They do to the tune of billions. Just never gave it to us. This country was created to rape, pillage,
architectural
black.
And shit.
So unless you got an assignment from spirit or something divine that is telling you to stay here,
what does that mean?
Your duty is to begin charity at home.
I'm very confounded at the way that he attacks this, but it's like, I think you always had that option, right? Like if you actually genuinely felt, you know what? I was born in America and I've lived in America my entire life, but I just feel more at home in a country in Africa. You could always just go there. Like there isn't anything to my knowledge that would prevent you from just doing that. Your entire paycheck says he will never leave no matter what happens. I mean, none of the people who ever talk about leaving the US generally ever do. I mean, if he wants to go back, he can at any time, right? What is he waiting for? This is a literal black supremacist discourse about how his land of origin is the best ever and how his body and spiritualism is the best. Why doesn't he just go back? I think because he wants to, like, have the importance of being some kind of movement leader. And so he's saying this because if, like, he can encourage other people to, like, move back, he can be like, I did that. I'm important and people listen to me. And now I have a movement encouraging people to move back to Africa. Like, that's the only thing I could really think of, is, like, he wants some kind of clout and recognition. Like, I don't know, man. It just sounds crazy. Wasn't there a black woman who moved to Africa only to try moving back to America within the year because everyone there hated her and life was significantly harder? That sounds very familiar. Like, I also read that on stream. Like, I just, every time I read or hear shit like this, I just get an irrational anger for, like, when I was a child, it was pumped into my soft little brain meats that we were gonna live in, like, a harmonious post-racial society. Like, nothing like that would matter, man. Why do we still have to deal with this dumb shit? A Muslim imam's home was firebombed in Bolton this morning. This was on the 11th. This was when the riots were at their peak. Phoenix DS, thank you. That's alright, kitten. Just be the best coconut you can be. Yay! I probably shouldn't have said yay to your message. Someone's gonna clip that out of context and think I was saying yay to the fucking fire. God damn it. I hate retards. That's a really inefficient way to arson a building, especially a building that's made out of brick. Hello? Ariana Grande, on her body concerns from fans, personally, the body you have been comparing to my current body to was the unhealthiest version of my body. So she's calling this unhealthy, where she's just average skinny woman. Someone's saying that this shit is edited, but I've seen this picture also posted, like, everywhere. And there's a video of her performing on stage where she legitimately looks like a skeleton. So even if it is edited to enhance, like, the way her bones look on her shoulder, which that does look kind of weird, the video of her performing on stage is still very fucking concerning. She has pretty severe body dysmorphia, it would seem. But, like, what happened? Because she wasn't like this before Wicked. It just happened when she got, like, she had, like, that Cynthia Ervio person, like, latch onto her like a leech. Ozempic? You think it's Ozempic? I think this is a different video from the one that I saw, but yeah, this will probably still get the point across. Like, that's horrifying. That is way too skinny, man. Like, the dress is really pretty, but she just looks like a walking corpse. Like, even, I don't understand, right? Like, if I was a man, I would be like, if I touch this woman, I will break her. She will just shatter. I cannot hug her. I cannot pick her up because any kind of force will just shatter her bones. Like, she is incredibly fragile. Fragile. What the hell did Ariana do to herself? I don't know. She used to be, like, super fucking pretty. And then something happened during Wicked where she just started getting worse and worse. I wouldn't even know about this, but I see it on my Twitter feed occasionally where, like, people will post, you know, the videos of her acting really creepy with Cynthia Ervio. And then just slowly her body getting worse and worse. Maybe she's preparing for a crazy Halloween cosplay.
What up, Seinfeld? What up? Can we get a free Palestine? Can we get a free Palestine? Come on, give us one free Palestine.
It doesn't exist.
The fucking edit, man. What up, Seinfeld? What's the deal? What's the deal with Palestine? I was like, he didn't even stop walking. I was like, that's fucking funny. Felton. I don't know if the surf guy made the edit or if he got it from somewhere, but that was a beautiful edit. Holy shit. Just like the dumbfounded look on that guy's face, like, well, what? The soup Nazi Seinfeld edits are back, baby! Let's go! The only funny joke Seinfeld ever made.
No soup for you!
And then this person replying, I feel sick every time I remember the price English girls have paid for multiculturalism. And then post an article here from 2023 that says, mother of schoolgirl Charlene Downs, who was murdered and minced into kebabs by Blackpool grooming gang, reveals she's still stuck in that day, 20 years on from her disappearance. That's crazy. It's been happening for so fucking long, man. That's crazy. This guy said, just found out Somalia has not printed any banknotes since the collapse of the government in 1991. Somalia, pay me in US dollars and I will begin painting newly manufactured Somali shillings issued by the Central Krushiki Bank at a very reasonable rate. And someone posted this video that says they use tailors to sew the money back together. And my American brain is like, what the fuck do you mean sew the money back together? What the fuck do you mean by it? What is it made out of? What the fuck am I watching? Cash is made out of cloth? What the frick? This is how you thought money was made when you were there? You were in Somalia? And you escape? Recycling. That's true. He is recycling. Blessed be the recycling. Can he say that? You think things were bad there? But you didn't know it was this bad. Yeah, linen. I didn't know that. How the fuck do they know if it's fake or not? Somehow I don't think that's too much of a concern. I have some of that money and a few other things. And I'm guessing this is some sort of like Somalian military uniform, which damn, that's fucking cool. That's how the fuck do you get something like that? And he says, after we took the port of Mogadishu, some of the former police put their uniforms back on and thought they should be in charge. I disabused him of that notion. What? Someone else said, to be fair, you did eventually get kicked out and had your soldiers killed and dragged. You seemed like some mercenary that tried imposing his bully fantasy from school. And the guy with the uniform responded, let's be honest about what happened. President Clinton pulled troops out of Somalia. President Clinton denied the army the tools it wanted. I was a Marine and our unit left before Black Hawk Down. We didn't get kicked out of anywhere. We were the Black Boots. That's insane. He beat the shit out of him and took the shirt off his back. That's fucking crazy. Imagine like owning something like this. That's nuts. History buffs would salivate. And then Darth Powell posted this video, and I think this is also very interesting. This guy also has a soothing voice.
The Europeans are about to wake up in a nightmare very, very fucking soon. There's people who look like me with the beard and the dark hair, and they flee from the terror and the Islam, okay? Or for example, I'm half German, half Egyptian, born in Germany. I still look like them, okay? And then there's people that look like me. They didn't flee from the terror. They flee with the terror and with the Islam. Which is most of them. To be fucking honest, it's not the other way around. You fucking don't know what is sleeping and just waiting to reach a critical mass. If you liberal people don't like to listen to some white man, then listen to me now, okay? Because I'm telling you, because I know how these people are. I've been there, I've lived there for a year. They hate you. And you will wake up in a fucking nightmare, If a certain point is reached, I call it the critical mass, in terms of you know, birth rate and all this stuff, you will not be able to defend yourselves anymore. I mean, sadly, the white man has been fucking
neutered,
psyoped into believing that masculinity is a bad thing and they should all just be weak and have a lot of emotions and be soft and all this stuff. And on the other hand, you have all these very aggressive people coming here. They don't accept your culture. They don't accept your religion. They don't accept your women's rights. They don't accept anything of this. They want to erase it. They want to erase you. And you're blind to see. You're blind to see that, man. Believe me, this is gonna be a nightmare. A bloody fucking nightmare. Wake the fuck up. I'm fucking serious. Even my mom tells me this every day. She's asking me, how can the Germans allow this? How can the English people allow this? She doesn't understand, like she really doesn't understand how this is even possible. Please, in the name of God, Jesus Christ, wake the fuck up.
And once again, it's interesting, right? Because he's telling you, like, he's lived it, he's seen it, he knows what the terror is like. And even his mother cannot understand why it is being allowed to continue. Masked teens rob a South Boston lemonade stand at gunpoint. Siblings 11 and 12 put their hands up as their suspects fled with their cash box. We have, in the great state of Massachusetts that has some of the strictest gun laws in the country, we now have lemonade stand robberies of children. Two masked teenagers held up a kid's lemonade stand at gunpoint in South Boston on Wednesday afternoon, taking the cash box from an 11-year-old girl and her 12-year-old brother before fleeing on foot. The robbery happened just before 4:45 p.m. on Wednesday, June 10th, at 157th West 9th Street in South Boston. According to the Boston police account, the suspects made several passes by the stand before walking up and asking the kids whether the stand accepted Apple Pay as payment. Before the children could answer, one suspect grabbed the cash box. The other displayed a black firearm tucked in his waistband. Both took off west down West 9th Street toward Dorchester Street. My kids immediately just put their hands up and said, "Take whatever you want," the children's father told CBS Boston. Cash box was later found a short distance away with the money gone. The kids were not hurt, but were shaken up. Well, yeah. Getting held at gunpoint at like 11 and 12 years old, that's gonna kind of fuck you up a bit. However, I think the parents in charge of these children are going to fuck them up even more, unfortunately. Their father did not hold back. "I'm pretty disgusted with it. They're young children. They're 11 and 12 years old. It was in the middle of broad daylight. It's outrageous that in such a good community that we can have something like this happen. Do you have a feeling that the Lemonade kids will not have safe opinions in the future?" You know, you would hope that something like this would have a similar effect on what like my childhood had on me, but we'll get to the tab where it gets kind of fucking weird. Boston police, as of the time of this article, have made no arrests and the investigation is active. The suspects were described only as two masked teenagers, one with a black firearm tucked in his waistband. Anyone with information is asked to contact Boston police. And they released some security footage here. Update, Boston police released footage of the two suspects who robbed a children's lemonade stand at gunpoint. Anyone with information, and there's a non-emergency line to the police department. We got the footage here. I'm shocked, I tell you. Shocked. You can't have my streak, Twitch. Don't let it go to the void. So this is unfortunately not like the best security video, but you know, it's what they got. Boston police released better photos as the masked boys who robbed a Southie lemonade stand at gunpoint are revealed to be just 11 and 14. And they got away with only $50. Imagine being 11 and 14 and holding an 11 and 12-year-old at gunpoint for their lemonade stand money. This is like, what is wrong with you? Where are your parents? Why have they done nothing? Two masked suspects who held up a kid's lemonade stand at gunpoint on West 9th Street in South Boston on Wednesday afternoon are roughly 11 and 14 years old, Boston police now say, and they got away with about $50 in cash. BPD has also released a fresh round of clearer surveillance stills of the pair, including a closer look at one suspect's exposed face. In the new image, the taller of the two suspects can be seen fleeing the scene carrying a small pink cash box, the one taken from the 11-year-old girl and her 12-year-old brother who were running the stand. And this is where I said I think the parents are gonna fuck up these kids and prevent them from learning a valuable lesson from this. 12-year-old boy who said the lemonade stand he runs with his 11-year-old sister in South Boston was robbed will be back open for business on Friday with a new mission. half of the proceeds from their lemonade stand will go toward reducing gun violence. If this has anything to do with gun control laws, first of all, that's pointless. If this has anything to do with donating to a charity about reducing gun violence, it's also going to just be sucked into the void and sent to people who probably don't need it. 12-year-old boy who said the lemonade stand he runs with his 11-year-old sister in South Boston was robbed Wednesday will be back open for business Friday with a new mission. Half the proceeds will go toward reducing gun violence. Boston police released video Thursday of 2 male juveniles that they're looking for in connection with the robbery. Victims told police that the suspects walked by the stand on the corner of East and West 9th Street several times before approaching and asking whether they accepted Apple Pay as payment. Before the victims could respond, one suspect grabbed a box filled with the money they had earned before they both took off from the scene. David Byrne, the 12-year-old boy who runs the stand with his sister, said one of the suspects flashed a firearm in his waistband at the time of the incident. He walked over here, he said, I might need to take the box, and he grabbed it with one hand, and then he showed us the gun, which was right here. My sister, she put her hands up, and I just said, you can have it. I thought it was very, rude, because they were young, and they shouldn't have done that at that age. Literally, the 12-year-old is just like, yeah, you should know better by this point, man. The victim's parents said they were in disbelief and disgust at the crime. They called me, I'm at work, they're hysterical and say someone just came with a gun and took all our money, said Jennifer Byrne, the victim's mother. It was heartbreaking and it was chilling. I was honestly like, this can't be real, said David Byrne, the victim's father. Wait, are they both David? Yeah, they're both David. Okay, so the kid is a junior. The family said the children's cash box was found empty down the road. Neighbors are now rallying behind the sibling duo, and a community lemonade stand is planned for Friday in the same spot where the robbery happened. It's something that they love doing, and it was something that was taken from them, said Jonathan Raucole, a neighbor. As Byrne returns to business, he said he plans to donate half of the proceeds towards reducing gun violence. This just shows awareness of, gun violence, and that you shouldn't do this at this age, or at all, he said. So what does that even mean? What are they going to be donating it to? Because it's I doubt a 12-year-old is just saying this on his own. And so it's what is he being encouraged to donate to? Where is that money going to be going? Confusion. What is his parents, convincing him to do? Would almost laugh if they showed up at the end of the day to steal the money again since the kids aren't learning. Hopefully that means he's buying his own guns for defensive use. Yeah, that would be the correct thing to do, but he lives in Boston. He can't do that. G.S. Wolfwood, thank you. Yeah, that gun sure did rob him without any help. Yeah, convincing him to vote blue no matter who. And he doesn't realize that's why the city's so fucked up. And then, exclusive, the kids whose lemonade stand was robbed at gunpoint in Boston opened another stand today. Check out the crowd who came to support them. Which, yeah, they absolutely deserve a crazy amount of support. And this is great to see a community coming together. I notice a distinct information about the crowd here, though. Look at those balloons. But it's great that there's so many people coming out to support the kids, but these kids absolutely should not be donating money to whatever preventing gun violence means. The gun did not rob them of its own volition. There was somebody wielding the firearm. They could have done it, like somebody else said, without the firearm. So it's doubly doesn't make any sense. You notice a shocking lack of scholars. Danny D, thank you. Enabling should be treated the same as the crime. I don't understand. It should have just been completely about these children and how they were fucked over by people who would rather rob children's lemonade stand money. But then it's just why are we talking about specifically stopping gun violence here? What are you gonna donate to?
And the moral of today's story is, if at first you don't succeed, blame it on your parents.
New STD. The bacteria jumped to a human who had direct close contact with an infected animal and has now gone human to human. Only gay men are getting it. It's spreading through bathhouses and it's causing disgusting skin lesions. They're baking AIDS from scratch again. And she's quote retweeting this news thing that says, in Lyon, a gay sauna is believed to be the origin of a cluster of new sexually transmitted infections. Human dermatophilosis. The bacterium Dermatophilosis congolenesis, typically active in tropical countries with hot and humid climates, primarily affects animals like horses and cattle, etc. The Colombian donkey fucking comes back with a vengeance! It only transmits to humans in cases of direct contact with an infected animal. In the Lyonnais cluster, around 40 men are said to have transmitted the bacterium to each other through skin-to-skin sexual contact in a hot and humid environment at a sauna. I don't want to do AIDS epidemic 2 electric boogaloo. This is why you wrap your banana every time. So they fucked a horse and then fucked each other in a sauna? Why would you assume they fucked a horse instead of getting fucked by the horse? And then there's a French article here. And Grok even says, fact check accurate. Peer-reviewed study in emerging infectious diseases confirms a genomically linked cluster of dermatophilitis congolinosis, whatever the fuck that's pronounced, skin infections among MSM in Lyon and Paris. 9 initial Lyon cases linked to the same gay sauna, lesions in sexually exposed areas, no animal contact. Updated reports June 2026, about 40 cases in France, 30 in the Lyon area, plus clusters in Barcelona and elsewhere. Strong evidence for human-to-human, skin-to-skin transmission in warm and humid settings. Mild antibiotic treatable, first documented interhuman spread of this animal bacterium. So maybe the someone fucked a monkey claims that circulated about AIDS might be the case in this instance. Gay horse fucker, do not fuck the horses! Do not maregasm! And then, speaking of Boston, meanwhile, at Boston Children's Hospital, the same hospital who bragged about chopping off kids' body parts, we covered that when that happened, that was weird. I probably can't play more than that, because they're probably gonna just keep playing that song, if I have to imagine. But it's just like, this is really fucking weird to do in the children's hospital, buddies? What are you doing? The dog shouldn't be involved in this. Yeah, 90% women. Why are women? Weird, but very on brand. It shouldn't be on brand for a children's hospital. Absolutely should not be on brand for a children's hospital. Boelter pleaded guilty for his role in the stalking and murder of Minnesota state legislators. United States Attorney Daniel N. Rosen announced today that Vance Luther Boelter of Green Isle, Minnesota, has pleaded guilty in federal court to multiple charges relating to the stalking, shooting, and murder of Minnesota House of Reps Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark Hortman. Oh, Representative Speaker Emerita. Sorry, I was like, what? What is this? As well as the stalking and shooting of Minnesota State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette Hoffman, and attempted shooting of their daughter Hope Hoffman. According to court documents in the United States versus Vance Luther Boelter, on or around June 14, 2025, Boelter used GPS navigation systems, interstate wires, the internet, and other interstate communication systems to plan and carry out a coordinated series of violent attacks targeting the Hortman and Hoffman families in Brooklyn Park and Champlin, Minnesota. Court documents allege that Boelter acted with the intent to kill, injure, harass, and intimidate the victims, and that his conduct placed him in reasonable fear of death and serious bodily injury. Placed them. I think it sounded like I said him. During these attacks, Melissa and Mark Hortman were shot and killed, and John and Yvette Hoffman suffered life-threatening injuries. Today, during a change of plea hearing in U.S. District Court before Judge John R. Thunheim, Boelter admitted to the conduct described in the indictment and pleaded guilty to all counts, which include 2 stalkings, 2 murders through use of a firearm, and 2 federal firearm shooting offenses. The plea agreement provides that Boelter is subject to the longest possible prison term allowable under the law for his offenses. The case is a result of a joint state and federal criminal investigation involving agencies across the entire state of Minnesota, including the FBI, Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, ATF, Brooklyn Park Police Department, Minneapolis Police Department, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, blah, blah, blah. Just list a whole bunch of things. Political violence is a scourge in our nation, said the United States Attorney Daniel N. Rosen. We now expect Vance Boelter will spend the rest of his natural life in prison without parole. To all of those who would commit political violence, this Justice Department will seek and obtain the longest prison terms for your offense. I hope that also is the case with the guy that shot Charlie Kirk and the guys that attempted to assassinate the president. Political violence is a nemesis of our democracy, said FBI Minneapolis Field Office Special Agent in Charge Christopher D. Dotson. On June 14, 2025, Vance Boelter thought he was above the law, above the Constitution, and that his personal views justified a violent crime spree like any other seen in Minnesota. For nearly 43 hours after his despicable crimes began, the FBI, BCA, and law enforcement partners from all over the state worked non-stop to track him down and end his campaign of political violence. I'm extremely proud of the immediate, cooperative, and comprehensive response of law enforcement from all over Minnesota to quickly track down a ruthless killer. Our hearts are with the victims and their surviving families, the Hortmans, Hoffmans, and all of the other elected officials who were on Boelter's list. Across the Twin Cities, family woke on June 14th to a fear that they never should have had to imagine, that their public servants had been hunted and attacked in their own homes. Melissa and Mark Hortman were killed, and John and Yvette Hoffman were left to recover from grievous injuries. The terror Vance Boelter set out to create reached far beyond the people he targeted and shook our entire Minnesota community. ATF joined the urgent around-the-clock effort to locate Boelter and to develop the investigative leads that helped bring him into custody. Today's guilty plea cannot return what was taken from these families, but it makes clear that anyone who chooses to bring this kind of violence to our communities will answer for that choice. Wouldn't it send a stronger message if you just gave him the death penalty? Wouldn't that be like the ultimate strong message of like, if you do this kind of murderous thing, you will also just forfeit your life? I do not understand why we just don't use the ability to have the death penalty. The change in plea by Vance Boelter represents an important step toward accountability for the devastating acts that shook our community, said Interim Chief Bill Peterson of the Minneapolis Police Department. While this outcome again reflects the unwavering partnership among local, county, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, prosecutors, and many others who have worked tirelessly on this case, no legal proceeding could undo the pain suffered by the Horton and Hoffman families. This plea brings us closer to justice, but we remain committed to honoring the victims, protecting our community, and ensuring that accountability is achieved through the rule of law. Mr. Boelter carried out a heinous and unprecedented act of political violence against Minnesota's political leaders. Violence targeting public officials is an affront to our democracy. We are all grateful for all the agencies that worked in partnership to bring Mr. Boelter into custody and prepare a case that forced the guilty plea accepted in court today, said Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension Superintendent Drew Evans. To the Hortman and Hoffman families, Minnesota continues to mourn the loss and the suffering you have endured. We hope today's guilty plea brings you some measure of solace. A guilty plea brings a legal resolution, but our focus today remains on the memory of Melissa and Mark Hortman and the ongoing recovery of Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. No courtroom outcome can undo the devastation of that morning, but we hope this accountability offers a step towards closure. And it doesn't look like there's any other information. It's just more praising the guilty plea, which, yes, that's great. Wonderful. Your concerns of giving the federal government more death penalty power aside, this is not only a case meriting the death penalty, it merits public televised execution to set a tone. You know, I wouldn't be able to disagree with you, man. It's great that we actually have a good conclusion in this case, but I would have liked to have seen the death penalty for this guy. As a huge update, the Bulgarian migrants who attacked the two girls in Scotland have been found guilty. Ilya Bailov has been found guilty of assaulting a 12-year-old girl and acting in a threatening or abusive manner towards 4 girls aged 12 to 14. His sister, Nadjadza Belova, also pleaded guilty to the assault on the 13-year-old girl. Are the people in the media who lied about these girls going to apologize? And he shows a tweet from a guy named Freddie Sayers that says, just as I suspected, the whole story of this girl being attacked by a migrant is confected propaganda slop. Good day to all the thousands of morons who amplified it and who piled on me for questioning it. There were quite a few people trying to pretend that, like, these girls who got attacked were, like, in some kind of youth gang and were roaming the streets just, like, looking for trouble, instead of believing the very far more believable reality that a migrant was sexually harassing them. As is part and parcel of living anywhere on that island now. There were so many who victim blamed those girls. It was absolutely fucking disgusting to see how many people were blaming these girls for getting attacked. What happened to believe victims? Believe victims unless it threatens your worldview of migrants can never do anything wrong ever. And here is an article on Spiked, Fraser Myers, deputy editor. Of course, that's the picture he would use. Sophie of Dundee and the online rights bullshit machine. The viral footage of a Scottish teen brandishing an axe at a migrant was obviously not all it seemed. No, you guys are just disgusting propagandists, and so when confronted with reality, you have no answer for it, and so all you do is lie. Battleizer, thank you. If it were the US, you'd say no, but in Britain they might, given the tensions over there, but that might be over-optimism. I feel like since the powder keg has been lit, right? Like, the people in Belfast, after doing what they've done, kind of either need to, like, finish the job governmentally, or they're going to just be thrown in prison for the rest of their lives, right? If you're going to attempt some kind of revolution, it can't be a half-measure revolution, you know? Jen Jacko, thank you. The journos all jumped in front of this to say the white girls were the evil white racists. You will never hate journos enough. You never will. You never fucking will. Chicago police have released photos of a suspect in the cross-burning incident at Grant Park that blacks and leftists have been blaming on white supremacists. And they show you a cross being burnt against a tree, which that's how you set the tree on fire. What are you doing? And this is the guy who set it up. Looks like he would be digging some tunnels, you know, maybe speaking from the trees, as it were. The Vietnamese face of white supremacy. His face says Asian, but not sure. Oh, that's Glenn from The Walking Dead. Honorary Aryan. Jesus Christ. When the crosses are... The burning crosses are speaking Vietnamese now. He speaks for the trees, but the trees are speaking Vietnamese. Burning a cross doesn't make sense as a display of white supremacy. It is seen as a display of white supremacy because the KKK used to burn crosses on the yards of homes owned by black people. I think is the connection being made here. Isn't the Asian the exact same thing as white in this day and age? Asians are either a minority or a white person, depending on what leftists need to use them for.
The following program contains mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is a sexual assault unknowingly captured by a mom filming her daughter's wrestling match. Callie didn't know her opponent was male, but she knew something was very wrong. Today, this was June 10th, ADF Legal helped Callie sue Washington officials who placed gender ideology above her safety.
Get up, Callie! Get to your base! Get to your base!
You can, like, see her face change.
Get to your base!
Bro, if I was that mother, right, and it's just like, I don't know why her face looked like that and laughed, because, like, yeah, it's a funny face, and then I found out it was because she was sexually assaulted, I would feel bad for the rest of my fucking life. Right, like, it's not my fault, I didn't know, but holy shit, that's horrendous. And then you have here, he shoved his fingers through her spandex, digitally penetrating her. The victim shouted to her mom that her fingers were inside her coochie. This is so disturbing, she's a 15-year-old girl and this man assaulted her in public in a wrestling match. On December 6th, 2025, KMK, a 15-year-old girl, competed in a Washington Interscholastic Athletic Association-sponsored girls wrestling tournament. Unknown to her and her mother, but known to WIAA and school officials, one of the wrestlers she faced was a male. Had KMK and her mother known, KMK would not have taken the mat. But because she didn't know, she wrestled. And during the match, the male athlete sexually assaulted KMK, shoving his fingers through her spandex clothing, digitally penetrating her vagina, and holding the position for several seconds. Visibly distressed, KMK shouted to her mother, who was video recording the match, that the opponent's fingers are quote-unquote in my coochie. And this person said, and nothing is gonna happen. Here's another tweet update. Prosecutors say they will not charge trans wrestler with alleged sexual assault of Callie Keeler because of case law concerning consent in athletic contests. If only the state of Washington had given Callie the option to consent to being touched by a male. And this, I guess, is the rejection that says the biggest barrier to charging this case is the case law concerning consent in athletic contests. As you are aware, rape in the third degree requires not just proof that sexual intercourse occurred, but that it occurred without consent. I've no doubt that the victim did not want any penetration to occur, but unfortunately that is not the definition of consent to which we are legally bound. So now you just have to let your daughters get sexually assaulted by men in school athletic events? What the fuck are we doing? Why the fuck is this even possible to be allowed? You agreed to this athletic contest, that means you wanted to be fingered? I think it's insane to say. I have no doubt the victim did not want any penetration, but unfortunately that's not the definition of consent. Not wanting penetration during a sporting event, that is the definition of not consenting. What do you mean? What do you mean? No normal people are trying to penetrate someone in the middle of a fucking wrestling contest. Why is there even mixed male and female wrestling?
Because it would be mean to tell the man he can't wrestle with the women.
Suddenly, they're not advocating for explicit and enthusiastic consent. Yes, suddenly consent is more vague than these people claimed it was before. You don't have to, because a 15-year-old cannot consent in any state, regardless of anything. She is not the age of consent, and this was not a doctor. They're using the, like, she consented to the sporting event as a she consented to being touched. Therefore, she could not have not consented to the penetration, even if she did not want it. Which is like, that is some crazy fucking logic, man. This is gonna escalate to someone just getting full-on, actually, like, not just digitally penetrated, but fully penetrated on the mat. And everyone's gonna be like, well, what can you do? That's just what transgender people are for. You can't be bigoted and say they can't just penetrate the female opponent. Oh my god, what are we fucking doing? Consent argument here is that in wrestling, you accept and understand that you may be touched and grabbed in places you otherwise shouldn't be, but it's part of the unpredictability of the sport and not intentional. Yeah, he put it much more succinctly than I did, but it's like, once again, this is clearly not a dysphoric person. This is clearly a man who just wanted to fondle women and got a little too excited and went too far and committed rape. Like, he shouldn't have been there in the first place. The adults should have put the bricks on this way long ago. Professor John Wolfman, thank you. It's not right, but oil checking has been happening in grappling martial arts for a long time. Male on male, though. I think that's what the other guy was trying to say, that, like, guys could do. That's gross. How is that allowed? How is that allowed? If I was a guy and I knew that someone could, like, put a finger in my bum through my spandex, I wouldn't want to fucking wrestle. That's fucking crazy. It isn't. It's not. Probably a dominance thing. It's a foul. Okay. All right. The way that it's been explained twice now makes it sound like there's no, like, punishment for it. So I was like, what the fuck? That's when you beat them behind the gym. We're at the point where you can only assume at least some of the audience saw it happening, realized it, and then cheered, stunning and brave. So they continue here. It says, we can't prove rape 3 at trial. Even if we could prove penetration beyond a reasonable doubt, which I think is doubtful given the witness statements, we cannot overcome a consent defense. Any harmful and offensive touching/penetration was a direct byproduct of the game. And this type of behavior is sufficiently common as to be foreseeable. I don't think it is sufficiently common to have someone's fingers penetrate through your spandex into your vaginal cavity. No, I don't think that's common, buddy. Pretty sure nut shots are banned in wrestling too. You doubt vaginal fingering is allowed, right? Like, this is just insane to read. Absolutely fucking insane to read. We are bound by the standard established for prosecutors. Crimes against persons will be filed if sufficient admissible evidence exists, which, when considered with the most plausible, reasonably foreseeable defense that could be raised under the evidence, would justify conviction by a reasonable and objective fact finder. RCW, some numbers. No reasonable court would convict this suspect at a bench trial given the obvious defense of consent. And somebody asked if she is going to be able to file a civil suit, and someone named Grande said she's already filing a civil suit with the ADF Legal. So hopefully ADF Legal can get some kind of a win here, because what the fuck am I reading? This is absolute insanity to the nth degree. Oliver Tree has passed away in a helicopter crash in Brazil. What the fuck is going on in Brazil? First they throw a woman to her death off a bridge, and now a character from a movie that Jim Carrey played is also dead in a helicopter crash? What the fuck's going on over there, man? Oliver Tree was an eccentric, genre-bending American singer-songwriter, producer, and internet personality. Recognized for his signature bowl cut and retro meme-worthy aesthetic, he was famous for blending alternative pop, hip-hop, and electronic music with viral comedy and avant-garde performance art. I've literally never heard of this guy. Bro didn't get the memo. Never get into a helicopter in Brazil if you're an up-and-coming singer. It'll be the worst and last mistake of your life. If you know, you know. If you don't know, look it up. Does Brazil have, like, a history of singers dying in helicopter crashes? Is that a thing? If you don't know, look up what? What would I even look up? If you recall correctly, the Brazilian cartels have shot down helicopters more than a few times. Why? Once is an accident, twice is a coincidence, thrice is a pattern. Well, this one was apparently a helicopter crashed into another helicopter. But still, what the fuck? How does that happen? Anyone remember the slingshot rides? They used to fake bolts coming loose right before takeoff. I don't like that. Thank you, Chai Teak. You've lost your chance at all the fun, dangerous activities. Too many incompetents now. True. True and real.